Right before we jump into this video, if you haven't signed up for the Fronos Photo email list, please do so. Just look for this orange box over on the website, put your name, email address in it, hit send it, and I will send you a free guide to capturing motion in low-light situations. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com, and what I'm going to do in this video is use Adobe Lightroom to edit all of the keeper images from my recent 5-minute portrait where I got to fly in a helicopter with the doors off, but I was strapped in. We were over the Las Vegas Strip. So what I like to do with all of my 5-minute portraits is go ahead and edit the keeper images so that you can see my entire process in Adobe Lightroom for finalizing the keeper images. If you haven't seen that 5-minute portrait, you can click up here on the screen or use one of the links down below to check out that portrait. But as always, you can download the full res images and some of the raw files that I put up on the site so you can edit them yourself in Lightroom. So what we're going to do right now is get to editing so you can see my personal process for editing the keeper images. So here we go. Let's edit these photos from flying in the helicopter, and I'll probably give you some more tips and tricks on things that I did wrong because I didn't do everything right. Because it's not that easy to shoot out of a helicopter. But what I have here are 45 pictures that I'm going to go through and edit for you. And this is what I would do. Well, normally I'd have music on, but I'm going to go ahead and do this tweaking. Oh, by the way, you see this plane in the background, this non-discrete, no tail numbers, no anything? Yeah, those go to Area 51. Those are the flights that transport everybody to Area 51. So what I was shooting with was Stevens 5D Mark III. Canon let me borrow a 24-70 2.8 version 2, as well as the 14-20, the 11-24 kick-ass ultra-wide-angle lens. Absolutely love that freaking lens. God, do I love that lens. Do I want to go black and white? There's not much color in here, so it really wouldn't matter which direction I go. Because Steven was inside the helicopter setting it up. I was like, oh, I should get some pictures of Steven. Don't want to do too much of this fill light thing. Actually, it's called shadows these days. But I'm going to pull back on the highlights a little bit just so that we can see this plane in the background and it doesn't become too overblown. You want to be careful with the highlights because sometimes it makes the image look fake, so I don't want to go too far doing it. But that's what you have here. So Steven was setting up the GoPro in the camera, in the helicopter. I almost called it a drone. We're going to go with color. We're going to move on. So we took off. We're flying. My first time hanging out of an airplane. I wish I would have, a helicopter. I've actually jumped out of a plane. I would have liked to have, well, I'm ready for the next time is basically what I'll tell you. Because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot about, I should have hung out and shot down more, but I wasn't that comfortable hanging out of the plane. I also switched from, this was a 24-70, I switched to the 11-24 and then stuck with that and almost dropped the damn lens out of the plane. But anyway, let's get to this. So you can see this is the Area 51 plane. There are no markings on it, which is kind of insane, right? That they can do that, but the government can do what they want. So for stuff like this, you have to decide, are you going to go the color route or are you going to go to the black and white route? Now, we flew during the dusk time. Now, the lights weren't on, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But I should focus on editing instead of talking so much. But that's what we're doing. You can just watch everything. Because I will tell you that I don't think these are the greatest photos I've ever taken. I learned a lot from being up there, and that's what I've shared in the 5-minute portrait. And I'll share as much as I can here. But you have to remember, you're in a helicopter. It is always moving. We also had 6 people in the helicopter, including the pilot, so I couldn't just direct and say, hey, could you go over here? Could you go over there? Because I'm not the only one who was getting photos. And again, thank you to Canon. I'm going to go with the black and... Shit. I don't know if I'm going to go with the black and white or the color. We have to thank Canon, though, because they're the ones who paid for the flight. Maybe I'll do color. Let's see. Black and white? Oh, whatever. Oh, God. It's always so hard to determine what you want to do. And I want to keep moving so we can edit all 45 quickly. But this is the dilemma that you go through. This is what you go through as you cycle through. And you're probably yelling at the screen right now which one you would keep. But I'm going to go with that for now. So, this has a jet over here. It has the same one going to the do not, the thing that doesn't exist. This one's no good. But I did like the positioning of the plane down here but I sort of almost cut the wing off. But then there's all this dead space over here, which is bad, so I'm just going to get rid of that image. We'll come back to that in a second. We'll go with this one. I wish that it was less of these buildings, more of just the planes, both planes here. Something I will learn the next time I fly to ask the pilot to hover over certain things that I want. This was a major learning experience, so the hovering is going to become important into the future. Because you have to direct. And when you direct, you can get more of the images that you want. But learning experience. So you guys can learn from my flight. So when you go up there for the first time, you have a bunch of quick tips to go with so you don't waste your time, because it is expensive to fly. Stratosphere. They still have a roller coaster up here? They used to have it. I think it's over here somewhere. I don't even know where it is. Maybe it's on the other side. Here you can see I switched over to the 11 to 24. It's a beautiful lens. I just thought I wanted to be wider up there. Now, Miss Hatton on Instagram, at Miss Hatton, MISSHATTAN, she suggested using the 24 to 70, but I felt like I was missing too much with the 11 with that lens. I thought it was restricting what I could do wider. So, not that I didn't want to listen to her. It's just that what I felt when I was flying, that I should have been using wider. Now you can see how you can warm it up. It was pretty cold. I did have gloves on. Like that. No, don't want to mess with it. Oop. No, don't want to do that. Undo the shadows. I'm going to pull back on some of that color again. Ugh. I don't know. We're going to go with color. I'm not going to mess with black and white for something like this. Later, cloud, get out of here. And this is what I do. I sit here and I tweak. And I suggest you tweak as well to find your image. Pull back on the whites a little bit. And there we have it. I was very happy with the 5D Mark III shooting. I was at 4.5. Some people may ask, why wasn't I at f8? Steven actually asked me why I wasn't at f8 or something. I chose not to be. Most things at 11 millimeters are going to be in focus. I wanted to have a fast shutter speed to counteract what was going on up there, any movement. But let me show you something that you have to be careful about. It's this. You see the prop? You see the helicopter prop? Where is it? So I was snapping off a bunch of frames because you could get that caught in your image. That also, the wider you shoot, the more chances of that showing up are. So you want to be careful that you don't have that in the great shots. Now I could probably sync these next couple because it's the same exposure, just different angles. We flew around the stratosphere. Yeah, he was trying to line up the stratosphere with the sun, but he didn't say that, so I wasn't sure. Or maybe he did, but I wasn't paying attention. I mean, I was paying attention as I'm hanging out of the window. You got to check out the video if you haven't seen it because you can see my first person's perspective. This one works. It works. Not in black and white, but it works. This is an interesting looking angle. I need to brighten it up. Again, you can play with some of the raw files. I don't know that I like this angle. I don't know that it's not a Dutch angle. It's just that we're moving. And this has the lens flare in it. Some people may like it. I'm going to leave it. Some people may like it. I don't like lens flare. I'm not a huge fan. It's also awfully dark off to the edges. You do have the ability to go ahead and use lens correction wherever that is. Let's see. Where do we have lens correction? Right here. In this case, it may actually work. You see what it's doing? Oh, and there's a plane coming in over here. That's a Southwest flight. You can see that. See what lens correction does? Wow, look at the correction that it adds. I sometimes like the vignetting, but other times this may just be better. That's not bad. I'm going to leave that one with it off. I don't want that one on either. I always forget it, but I don't like what it's doing down here in this area. I don't like what the lens correction is doing to the plane. Not that it's stretching, it's just getting rid of the contrast that I liked. So anyway, that's just something that you can do with different images. Yeah, it's nice. See, this is nice. This is snow in the background, by the way. It's snowing on the mountains in the background. Westgate. You can see the convention center. You can see so much because you're up in the air. We're about 3,000 or 3,500 to 4,000 square feet, 4,000 feet above the earth. Excuse me as I don't talk because I'm trying to focus. We will try this to see if I like it better or not. It's a crapshoot. Somewhere in between, I would say. I'm going to go with none. We'll just do that. So we could sync these two. Somebody said I could always just hit the previous button, but I kind of forget about that often. Don't know that I like it because, again, my horizon isn't straight. My horizon's more straight there. It's more straight there than it is. It's actually not something I noticed. I mean, I try to keep my lines very straight when I'm up there. It's just a matter of concentrating on not falling out. All right, I'm going to leave that. This was just shooting out the back side of the plane. I think I wanted to show you this because on the next one, it's more straight. I'm not going to go ahead and do other corrections after the fact, lines, because that would be cropping, and I don't want to crop. So we can pull back like this. We can do this. Sharpening. Okay, because the sun was going down. The reason I was shooting out the back like this is because the guy on the other side of the plane shooting out the door, he was shooting the strip. So I figured I would just sit here and shoot some other stuff as well. Dun 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 bum bum beep beep beep. And there we go. That's how I like it. Ooh. I'll probably throw this one in there for you guys so you can futz with it all you want. And lens correction on this will probably brighten up the sides a lot. It does, but then it leaves the center. I'm going to go with this. That's just what I'm going to stick with. We all have different editing styles. That's another plane coming in. Really, editing is it's so subjective. It's what works for you. Now I sound like Bob Ross right now. Just do this and tweak this. And I know these are long videos, but when you're editing, you have to take your time. You have to make it work. You have to do it right for you. I'm trying to see if I like this or if I don't like this. I mean, you can just see everything. I don't know. Can't tell if I don't like it or do like it. But I think I like the angles of the streets in this one. And again, I'm going to do this to the sky. There we go. Hello? Is it the sky you're looking for? I can see it in my face. I can see it in my face. All right, so I thought it would be great to shoot my legs hanging out of the plane just so that it gave me something to look at. Not that it gave you something to look at, but I love that it's focused right here on my Sebastian McCalls. And this is where the f4.5 comes into play and the background is out of focus. It just leaves you wondering where I am. Now, in a photo story, it works better because some people are like, what are you hanging out of? Unless you know it's a helicopter, which you don't, but in the context of the story, you do. That's one of the things I thought about after the fact. So I'm going to brighten up with the shadows this time around. All right, let's see. Make it a little warmer. I'm definitely going to play with the sky in a minute out here. So I like the way that it looks in there in my pants. And I did put this on Instagram. Maybe a little too yellow, so let's... Boom. Something along those lines. And you'll see with lens correction again, I'm not a big fan of it. It just ruins the rest of the contrasty. And I'm sure I could bring it back, but I like the feel. Yes, it has a vignette, but it draws me into the image. My eye goes to here on my pants. Nice moiraying actually happening. That's what moiré looks like. Moiré looks like. That's coming from the 5D. But I love this image, and I'm sure I'll come back and tweak it a little more, but I do like what's going on. Oops. Oh, I screwed something up. I screwed something up, so I'll go back into there. Where's the dot? There it is. Just don't want to make it unrealistic. Okay, we'll keep moving on. Ooh, that's cool. Again, the snow in the background. Again, I'm back here shooting. I'm not totally pleased with all of my images, as you can tell, but it's a learning experience that next time I go up, I'll be much more prepared, and I'll be flying not with other photographers so that I can direct what I want to shoot, where I want to shoot, and that way I'll be able to get more of what I want. That's one of the biggest tips that I could give you guys is don't be afraid to direct the shoot. Don't be afraid to have the pilot we had, his name was Jared. He was also awesome because he is a photographer, so it totally helps. He knows what to look for, and so that helps out. So in the future, yeah, this is better because looking straight down, I would be more comfortable letting him know exactly what I wanted. So just got to find it. Just got to find it here. I think this is going to be an extremely contrasty one. Just have to find it. And it's somewhere around here. I know you're like, where's all the strip photos? They're here. We flew over this for a while. Not for a while, but that's the first thing we do is we flew to the end of the stratosphere or the end of the strip. I think black and white may be okay here. It's funny, I get like guitar face except for editing. I don't know if this shot's any good or not. I don't like it. I mean, it's okay. What do you guys think? Nope. Goodbye. Goodbye, shot. Goodbye, shot. All right, now we're getting over to the strip. Here we have Paris. We've got, yeah, this is Paris. What's that say? Planet Hollywood. It means Mandalay Bay is somewhere around here. The Bellagio is somewhere around here. I don't know. Next time, higher up, more face down, so we're maybe above the Eiffel Tower, because there's all this dead space back here. To me, it's just dead space, and that's my critique, is I don't like it. It should be tighter. It should be... I use the 11 to 24 to get wider, to get detail, but you see right here, that's why I left it in. You see right here, that's the foot thingy, the thingy from the helicopter. I don't even know what you call it. So this image is no good. That's why I picked this one is to show you this because that's in there. And then I got it out of there in the next one. But what I need to do next time is I need to literally sit on the side of the helicopter probably and shoot out, or even lay down and shoot down. That's what I need to do. Those are the tips. Again, don't just sit in your seat. Get more up and then have him tilt the helicopter. Get it to where you want it to be. So I'm going to keep going. I know. Not a lot of good ones on the strip just yet. All right. Quickly do this one. And we're just going to go with that for now. The black and white is good. So this is coming up on the strip. Again, not a good photo. I keep saying that too many times. And this lines up the strip. Now, we were flying. We had to get a flight home after this, so we didn't fly the night shift. But if I'm in Vegas again, I am flying at night. I will take the hour at night in the freezing cold, or if it's in the summer, hopefully it won't be as cold, to get all of the lights lit up. We can go higher. We can get more lights. I can spend more time trying to get the images I want to get. That's the learning experience. Time, and directing. So please use my lack of quality images, in my opinion, as a learning tool, so that if you spend the money to fly in a helicopter to get photos somewhere, that you do a yeoman's job, aka a good job. This isn't terrible. I mean, I'm not going to try to justify it. You guys can determine that for yourself. This is shooting down the strip. You can see that this light isn't on over the Luxor just yet, but tighter. I mean, in this case, maybe I would have them hover lower and also hover higher so that I can get a longer lens and shoot down the strip. That's just what I'm getting out of it right now. It was just that tween time between sundown and lights going on. Too much. Okay. Right about there. Still think the 5D did very well. What are we at now? ISO 640. I just bumped it a little bit as the sun was going down. All right. What is this? Just an empty lot? I don't even know what the hell. Oh, is that a building? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just an empty lot. All right, I know this takes a while. I hope you're bearing with me. But if I'm going to edit, I should show you my entire process so that you can see the entire process. All right, here we go. Now we're getting into some stuff. We've got the Bellagio. We've got the fountains, famous fountains going off. We've got the Eiffel Tower. The lights are starting to come on. And now we're flying around this thing. Because, well, I say flying around because we did a lot of circling here. We circled my way. We circled the other way for the other photographer. No. All right, we're just going to go with this. Now, you could tell that if I had the lights on for nighttime shooting, it probably would be less distracting to have this stuff, and I would be able to fill the frame. But here I'm at, you can see how close we are. Then 19 millimeters, trying to get more of the fountains. Now, shooting straight down on the fountains would be cooler. So that's probably what I would spend a lot of my time doing next time, is directing to say, you know, let's get a top-down look, because I don't want it to look like I'm just in a tall building. I want to get a top-down look to really give the impression of shooting straight down. I think that's what the best images are going to be. Are straight down. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. They're okay. It just seems like there are a lot of snapshots more than anything. which I'm not a fan of snapshots. I'm not a fan of my shots. You know, I'm not a fan of saying that, but it's a learning experience. First time shooting out of a helicopter, I will get it right the second time, and the third time, I'll just keep getting it better and better. I see it. You know, I see what to do now. And you probably need to time it to when they're about to do the show, too, so you could spend time around the show. But that wouldn't be a problem when you're directing it. Okay, that's a little better. This one's a little better. Okay. I like this one a little better of the back of the Bellagio with this going. You got the Eiffel Tower in here. You've got, I guess that's the Paris Hotel. Look at the size of those things. They are absolutely immense. So I could definitely see going up higher in altitude. I know that Vincent Laforet said he was up sometimes 10, 12,000 feet, which is absolutely asinine to be shooting out of a helicopter. You jump from 13,000 between like 11 to 13,000 feet. When I jumped out of a plane, we were at 13,000 feet. So it's just insane to see how high you can get to shoot. It is an experience I would suggest that if you get an opportunity to do, if you're afraid of heights or something, definitely strap yourself in and do it. Try it. Definitely give it a shot. All right. I'm not seeing awesome pictures. I'm not seeing them. And that hurts. That hurts not to see awesome pictures. Maybe you guys think otherwise, but I know I'm not very happy. And I don't know if it's because I shot too wide or it should have been tighter. It's a learning experience. That's what I'll chalk it up to. But I think I see the really the whole point of this is to take the experience that I had and learn from it. So if you do this, you can better direct the pilot and select your lenses and say, this is what I want to do. And when it's just you shooting, you can shoot where you want to shoot. So now you can start to see the lights coming on. This is at the end of the strip, and you can see all the way down the strip, except not a lot of lights on yet. And the fountains aren't moving. Oh, well. I'm going to clean up the sky here a little bit, just so that it draws us back in. It's not too distracting. I mean, you can really mess with it. You really can mess with this stuff to make it seem like it was more insane than it actually was. I don't know if I like it or dislike it. I'm just going to live with it for the time being. The sky does look good when you do that, though. Wonder if you could do HDR from a helicopter. Oh, I got some of the blade up in there. It sort of fades away, so it's not that bad. All right, gonna get rid of that one. Here you see how much nicer it would have been. But anyway, enough of that. This is the ultra wide. I didn't even think about doing verticals. I mean, I couldn't do verticals with the wide because I would have gotten the entire prop in there. So that was the story behind that. No, I'm going to do this last. I want to get this to where I want it to be. Looking down the strip. Not bad. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Not people. Like, this is a Boeing 747 short. Like, it's a squat plane. Meaning they are supposed to be longer than that. All right. The sky is really nice here. Not in black and white. Do this. We'll bring the sky in now. Okay. What is that in the distance? That's a dot. And there's still snow in the background. Okay, sync. Because as we got closer, it looks cool. A little more contrast for me. A little more on the highlights. I don't know what this one is. This is just a taxiing. I don't know. I'm going to leave it because maybe it could be used for something. Maybe somebody would find this useful. Thinking about it, wish my lines were more straight. That's something I need to be more cognizant of. I mean, I was very cognizant of the fact that lines needed to be straight while up there. But it's just something. We'll go with that. Sundown. And then Steven took one of me in the helicopter. That's pretty easy to do. Little highlight right here. Boom. There we go. And that's going to be it. And that's really it, guys. I mean, that's the photos. Are there any really, really, really solid ones in here? Okay, that's better. I'm going to go with something like that. There's not a ton. But maybe you guys think they're good. I'm just personally not happy with the results. I'm reading the ones that I really like. And it's based off of just quick glances because they're still loading. And that's pretty far away. That's closer. Oh, and then I go through and I see it's a little too yellow. But definitely learning experience. Check out the 5-minute portrait for the different tips because I've got a lot of different tips for this, so you don't have the same thing happen like I did. Again, there's some good ones in here. There's usable shots. That's one of my favorites. But that's more photojournalistic than anything. And that's where we started. So that's where I'll leave it, guys. Just learn from what I have here. Like I say, I like to show the good, the bad, the ugly, everything so that you can learn from it. I can learn from it. This is photography. Ripping my own stuff apart is what you need to do because if I'm not satisfied with the shoot that I did, then I need to get it right the next time. But also, by me not getting it right or just learning from it, you can learn from it as well for if you decide to take one of these flights yourself. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not happy, not fully happy. Yes, it was a great experience, and I do appreciate Canon footing the bill for the helicopter, and we do have a lot of learning and tips that came from it. I just want to do it again. Now I'm anxious to get up there again and do it better. I expect to be really good at everything when I do it the first time, and a lot of people are like, well, can't expect to be great at everything the first time you go up and do it, which is understandable. So just want to do better the next time. So hopefully you guys can do better the first time based off of this video, and hopefully you like the editing. Go check out the 5-minute portrait. Download some of the files if you haven't done it yet. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com.